Houston Rockets are a powerhouse. After Chris Paul joined them this past off-season, the Rockets have managed to sit atop the Western Conference well in front of the Golden State Warriors. Houston and New Orleans have played 3 times already this season. All of the games have been fiercely contested, with the Rockets winning twice and the Pelicans just the once. There seems to be more than a little animosity between the two clubs, as Alvin Gentry made an impassioned plea for the referees to start calling things a bit more evenly. This was after Houston were given some more than questionable calls and not called for others. Whatever your viewpoint, the Rockets are a juggernaut that the Pelicans could well be facing come playoff time. New Orleans currently sits in 4th position, however they could very well end up as the 8th seed if things don't finish off strong this season. In this video review, I'll try to break down some of the matchups, but also how the Rockets look to exploit the Pelicans in various ways. The main thing Houston wants to do is to get James Harden going. He's their best player and the Pelicans know this. So what they try to do is they put Jrue Holiday on him. Houston also knows this, so what they then try to do is to get him off of Harden and onto a different opponent. Here the Rockets get Paul to inbound the ball. Harden then moves up and sets a back screen on Ian Clark, who doesn't see it coming. This forces the switch, but you can see here that Holiday doesn't want to do this and hopes that Clark will move back, but unfortunately he doesn't. Houston gets exactly what they want, Harden on Ian Clark. Capella then sets a screen, getting the ball in Harden's left hand, and at that point it's pretty much game over. Harden drives and misses a pretty easy look, which he usually makes. The point of this clip though is to highlight something that I'll show next, and that is how the Rockets set guard screens to free up their own guards. In this next example, it's the same sort of thing. Holiday is matched up against Harden, and this is not something that Houston wants. They want to get Jrue on another player so that they can get their MVP frontrunner going. Chris Paul comes over and sets a screen and forces a switch, but it's way too high, so it gives time for Jrue to communicate to Clark that he can switch back, which is what happens. Houston will continually set guard screens to free up the player that they want. That could be an on-ball or an off-ball screen. However, if the Pelicans get an isolation between Jrue and Harden, they will take that every day of the week. New Orleans has their best defender on the opponent and also has the best shot blocker in the league to help them should the guard drive. In this case, the result isn't what the Pelicans were hoping, as Harden gets to the basket and lays it in. But the coaching staff for New Orleans will take this as much as they can. The Rockets have seemingly identified that whoever Jrue Holiday isn't guarding is who they want to get going. Eric Gordon is another player who has had some pretty good success against New Orleans this season, averaging 19.7 points and is shooting 60% from 3 against the Pelicans. The go-to play for Gordon is the off-ball screen. Gordon will either set a back screen on the big man and then pop for 3, or he'll fake and cut to the basket like in this example here. Here are 2 quick examples of what I mean. In recent weeks, the Rockets have been running what is one of my favourite sets. Here, Eric Gordon gets the ball on the wing, and Chris Paul then looks to post up down low. Eric makes the entry pass and cuts down in towards the paint. Then, rather than clearing out, he moves back up to set a back screen on the big. But rather than actually set it, he pops up to the top of the 3 and hits the open look. A beautiful set all around. The next time, the Rockets run the exact same play. Gordon makes the entry pass and motions down. But this time Shabazz Napier anticipates the 3 and starts to try and cut it off. But Gordon fakes and cuts down for the easy layup. It's a brilliant play design that the Rockets like to run when Gordon is up against the weakest defender on the floor. I would look for Houston to run this whenever E'Twaun Moore, Ian Clark or Rajon Rondo are on Gordon. The obvious go-to for the Pelicans on offense is Anthony Davis. With DeMarcus Cousins going down, New Orleans has to rely heavily on their big man to get them efficient offense. Against Houston, the Pelicans' play that they often find themselves running is some variation of a Davis isolation, either against Clint Capella or PJ Tucker. In this example, the Pelicans run a simple dribble handoff with Davis and E'Twaun Moore. Davis then moves towards the high post, gets the ball, and waits for Moore to motion down and out of the paint. There's enough action here to somewhat occupy the Rockets' attention to hold those off-ball defenders while Davis does his work and hits a contested jumper. Here, in this example, PJ Tucker has Davis one-on-one, and with his size advantage, Davis then looks to attack. He unfortunately misses the shot, but is able to easily get the rebound because of that size advantage. Of the 144 offensive possessions that Davis has had against Houston, 51% of the time he either is facing PJ Tucker or Clint Capella. Another set that New Orleans will look to run is E'Twaun Moore. Here New Orleans gives it to Drew Holiday, who waits patiently at the top of the three-point arc. There's some off-ball motion on the right-hand side, and then on the left-hand side, Davis then motions down to set a screen for E'Twaun Moore's man. The idea here is to get Moore one of his favourite looks, which is a running floater towards the basket. It's something that they've perfected over the last couple of months. E'Twaun then cuts up and around Davis's pin-down screen. However, James Harden does an excellent job of fighting through the screen to prevent an easy look at the basket. New Orleans then adjusts and then goes to Davis for an isolation play. AD then hits a tough contested shot. It's good defense from the Rockets, but sometimes it's just better offense. This is what has me both excited, but also nervous for a matchup against Houston. In a 7-game series, teams will know each other's plays fairly well. The Rockets in this example know what New Orleans is trying to run and do a good job of preventing that first look. If they can figure out a way to curtail Davis in isolation plays, whether it be double teams or whatever, then New Orleans may be in some serious trouble. So we've talked a little bit about James Harden and how the Rockets want to get mismatches. We've also touched on Anthony Davis and who the Rockets will throw at him. The final thing I want to look at is the overall philosophy, strategy, and execution that the Rockets are looking to run. Everything is predicated on dribble penetration. Here, in this example, Chris Paul gets easy dribble penetration. What Houston wants from it is one of three things. 1, a relatively easy layup or a drawn foul. 2, a three-pointer. Or 3, they look to get some variation of an alley-oop to Clint Capella. With Paul and Harden, it's extremely difficult for teams to stop the Rockets. Want to help contest the shot at the basket? Well, you'll leave a man open like in this example here. Play them straight up? Well, they'll draw the foul on you like in this example here. Or do your best to be physical with them and contest the shot at the basket? Well, sometimes they're just too good. Thanks again for watching the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel for any new content that I post. I've recently moved countries, so it's been a bit of time for me to settle in. With the Pelicans well on their way towards the playoffs, I'm hoping to post more of these types of videos. So if you have any suggestions, make sure you drop it off in the comments section below. Again, I hope you enjoyed it. Until next time.